That's a good record.
For money.
Tina.
Do what you want me to do.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you. Yeah. So we're just singing some Tina Turner to start the show. Because Canada's World Cup of Soccer experience started and ended with a 1-0 loss to Belgium today. We all watched it. That's why we're starting a little bit late. We're going to talk about that. We're going to sing a little Tina Turner. We're going to talk to Caryma today. Ray Rout is going to join us because he's been waiting 36 years for the World Cup. I'm waiting 36 years for this. My whole life I've been waiting for it. And let's get to it. Canada loses to Belgium. First World Cup experience in 36 years. Still have not scored a goal in a World Cup. However, let's just go around the room. Now, I know Lachlan hates soccer. I don't know about you, Linz. This might be your foray into a soccer conversation here. Did we watch the game? Were we good Canadians today? Lachlan, let's start with you. Did you watch Canada-Belgium? Did you watch Canada take it to the Belgians, take it to them, and still lose 1-0 today?
I came home. I took the dog for a walk. I knew we were starting a little bit later, so I was trying to get some stuff that I would do normally after the podcast done. So I had some things. I was task-oriented today during the game.
Yeah.
But I had it on, and I did pay attention to it at moments when it sounded like it was getting exciting. So I would turn around and I would pay attention to said game. Now, hold on. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I still don't like soccer, but Canada's playing.
Yeah.
And I can get behind cheering for Canada.
You can find your way to figure out soccer for 90 minutes
exciting.
at a time. Yeah, exactly.
It was very exciting, and this is a big deal. I realized how big of a deal it is. I don't have to love it. I mean, I actually had a guy tweet me that went and said something because I tweeted this soccer thing's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then we were going back and forth a bit while I was watching the game. And he goes, you know what? He said he nailed it for me because I've been watching some of the interviews and a lot of the coverage leading up to the World Cup in Qatar. And I've been going back and forth about whether or not to support it because of the FIFA stuff and the human rights issues. And then I'm like, no one cares if I watch the game or not, so I might as well watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm a Canadian. This is a team. They work their sacks off to get there. And he goes, this team is really likable. And you know what? He's got a point. These kids are just good sort of Canadian boys, you know? Like they got different colored skin and they play there and they've got different backgrounds. They come from all over the world, but they've settled here in Canada. And these boys have created this sort of really tight-knit group, and they play really, really well together. And I thought he fucking nailed it. He nailed it. It is they're so likable. That goalie is awesome. That Davies. What a nice
great.
kid.
Jonathan David, awesome. Kyle Laren, Eustachio, Atiba Hutchinson,
like
39 years old. He's been with the group for like 20 years. This is like one of those things. So imagine this. Imagine that your country. So just to give it some perspective, the community involved in what I saw today was incredible. Every time I turned on the radio, they're talking about 90-minute breaks. Our guys over at Footy Prime, Craig and those cats that we have on the show, James Sharman, Brendan Dunlop, those guys did a 90-minute national stat holiday today for the game. It went brilliantly. You had hockey teams in Canada. It's on in all the dressing rooms. You had people that, like, I went and got my hair cut today. By the way, that's another story because the guy stuck his fingers in my ears for a prolonged period of time. I was a little worried about it. But I go get my hair cut, and I'm talking to the guy. Yeah, I'll get to it. I'm talking to the guy about the World Cup. He's like, you're not watching the World Cup today? I'm like, yeah, of course. That's why I'm here now. I'm going to watch this, go watch Canada play in the World Cup. And I have zero desire to watch soccer, like none. If someone said to me, hey, Dean, do you like soccer? I would say, fuck no. That would be my answer all the time for a multitude of reasons. However,
I don't like soccer either.
Because it's Canada, I'm like 100% in. I'll watch it. I'll learn. And, it's this vibe, and we don't get to experience these vibes. Sure, Canada lost today 1-0. They took it to the second-ranked team in the FIFA rankings for 90 solid minutes. They had one breakdown. Really great goal. No big deal. Final score. Fantastic game. Canada's defense is incredible. Couldn't hold back number two. The entire team. One job. Great job, fellas. Belgium won. Canada's ick. Great job. I don't know which one of us put that up there. Was it you? Was it Rookie?
And that's where I was coming in. I'm the same as you guys. I don't give a flying fuck about soccer.
No.
But this got electric. Like it was what Lachlan was saying. it's the team. I think that's what we've been missing. I think all these years for Canada when it comes to soccer is that camaraderie and that love for the actual people and the players and knowing their names and seeing them and putting their faces out on Front Street for you to actually.
They're superstars too, though, Linz. Right?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a difference. I think
Well,
that's why a
some of
guy
them, like on the other side or on
jokers
this
like you
side?
and I know.
On the other side or on this side? Because Canada has one superstar. We have one. The rest of this team, bunch of guys from all over the place, just BLGs, bunch of guys.
Do you know how fucking cool it was to hear an announcer at FIFA say the name of my city like 50 times today?
Yeah.
So and so from Hamilton. So and so when they played in Hamilton, when they played that game in Hamilton, I'm like, fuck yeah. So you can't help but get wrapped up in it. And so that's what I did. I took over the company account today and started live tweeting the game with score updates, and I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. I was just following what those guys were saying and putting it out on our stuff. So
you know what though?
You were caught up in it, which is my point.
So
right? You're
caught
up in it. You're like,
100%.
dude, and that's the thing. This is what Canada need. Like Canada needs the World Cup in this experience. It's almost irrelevant. Like they fucking hung with the second best team in the world today.
Yeah.
From unranked a year ago to hanging and almost beating, if not for a shitty fucking call to make Alphonso Davies take that penalty. They should have had someone else do it, like Jonathan David or Kyle Larin, anybody but him. That was a mistake. They played excellent soccer today, as far as I understand it, because
was
unbelievable. They were incredible. It was just one little mistake, and they took it to them. Like the scoring opportunities, they had double the opportunities. They just couldn't close. That's the difference between the second-ranked team in Canada, is that they fucking take advantage of those little windows where someone makes an opportunity. And we'll get to the entire breakdown with Ray Rout coming up around 5:30 today, because he's going to drop by, because this
The
is
other thing,
this is
though,
all he cares about. But it was just and let me just say this, and I'll finish, and I'll throw it to you, Locke. I loved it. I needed this. I needed to watch that last night because of the hockey shit, the sex stuff and the fucking rape and the slush funds with Hockey Canada. I'm out. I didn't want to watch it. Canada's basketball team, still also rans. They've qualified for the world champ, but they've got a bunch of NBAers. This is different because of the world stage. This is the biggest tournament in the world. And those cats brought this country together for 90 solid minutes today, and I fucking loved it. Sorry, Locke.
That's well put. That's what I wanted to say. I said, even if you don't have any, you got three guys on a podcast that care very little about soccer. The three of us all equal. Just the thing for me, I was in just before 2:00. I turned it on, and they're singing the national anthem, singing it out loud with pride. You could hear that building. Like they outsung the Belgians.
Oh yeah.
In that arena tenfold. And I was just like, that's what's being Canadian.
The camera pans of the stands were incredible to see the Canadians and the Canadian flags and everybody wearing red. Like it was a sea of red in those stands today. It was amazing.
Yeah. I jokingly said, who would go to this game? Like, you can't even drink. What Canadian would even wrap their head around the idea of doing that, right? Like,
I was drinking in my garage.
Yeah.
Were you having some cocktails? Did you guys have to kill some pints this afternoon? That's the other thing. It just give everybody, like, even if you're not a fucking soccer guy, you're a beer drinker, you can go, now I'm a soccer guy. He did. He took the day off for it.
I did. Why not, right? I had to get, it was the weather's nice. I wanted to get the Christmas stuff done. You can see I put my lights up. See how busy I was. Yeah, and I drank the rest of the day and watched soccer. It was great.
That's hilarious. Grant was giving people advice on if you're gonna do things like take the day off to watch the soccer game, you better make it sound like you're actually a soccer fan. So he was giving tips, and he goes, most of the people that I know, in his Grant report, he goes, most of the people I know are actually disappointed that the game's at noon and not 5:00 in the morning, because everyone was so excited about the opportunity to go watch these games and get shit tanked at like $5.
Yeah, to drink before
and
11.
Then the first
to
game's
drink
at
before
noon.
It's legally allowed. Yeah, I know. Fuck, it's amazing, isn't it? How we turn into just animals anytime this happens. One of the coolest things I saw today, D. Adekugbe, I think her name is, Son Adekugbe, who plays for the, I don't know if you've seen this video. This is what it was about for me. Listen, if you don't like soccer, you can't help but love this. These people are Canadian immigrants, came to Canada. Sam Adekugbe is one of the best players on the team. And this is the moment where she's like, my son's in the World Cup. I can't fucking believe it. This is Canada.
My son is in the World Cup. My son is in the World Cup.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
How great is that?
Wow.
Good for her.
I mean, I don't want to bust her bubble and tell her Jesus isn't real, but
Proud
I
mom.
was pretty fucking proud, right? Like
That's
how cool was that?
that's fucking
Right.
awesome.
I know.
Yeah,
We'll talk with Ray Route coming up a little after 5:30 today. However, we need
Oh,
to
that's
switch
so
gears.
He
good.
believes in Jesus, so he'll enjoy that.
Ray, yeah, no. He's one of the only Jesus guys I like. Actually, he's
Yeah,
a really
me
good
too.
Jesus.
Jimmy's
guy.
a Jesus fan. I like
Yeah,
Jimmy.
I like him too.
I like
Little
Jimmy.
Jimmy is a
Yeah.
Jesus
He's
fan.
a drinking Jesus fan, isn't he?
That's
So he's
right.
like, and he's a
Well-
swearing Jesus fan. So I like guys like that.
And a
Anyway.
stripper too.
Yeah, male
You can
stripper and a
still
midget
do all
wrestler.
those things and believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 4 feet of blasphemy. It's fantastic.
As we pivot, have you guys been keeping an eye on Karima online? Have you guys noticed that she
Yeah,
locked her
what
tweet?
she was serving somebody for who is this woman that she was
We'll
serving?
get to it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So Karima rules. Karima Assad, one of my great friends, love her to death. Work with her. She's a journalist. She's a lawyer. She's an advocate. She has maybe the best intentions of anybody I've ever met. You, Linz? Same thing? Maybe the best intentions of a human being in media.
It's incredible the amount of projection we put, or not us, but people put on Karima for what she does when she literally says pretty much nothing. She just shows you what's going on. And
Just shows you
I
what-
love her work. I've always loved her.
I'm on the fence. She likes cats.
Well, let's bring her in because you're on the fence, ladies and gentlemen. Lawyer, advocate,
Yes.
and journalist Karima Rules, Karima Assad at Karima Rules
know
on
I'm
Twitter. Nice
kidding,
to see you.
Karima.
How are
You
you?
know I'm
Nice to see you. No, go ahead.
Hi.
Take issue with Lachlan before we start. Go ahead.
Please do.
Yeah.
No, I think a measured approach is the best way to go. So he's weighing his options. That's fair.
Are you on a Mac product, by the way? Are you on a Mac product right now?
No.
Or are you using Safari? Is that
Wait,
correct?
I
No. Okay.
Oh, something
You're
weird.
gonna have to log back. Yeah, log out and log back in
Oh.
again. You got a
Oh.
terrible connection. Yeah, and try and go through Chrome, please, if you can. Go through Chrome.
Yeah.
That's the easiest thing to do. And then we'll have her back. Because, dude, I don't know if you watched her.
Oh my
so
god.
she makes a living on Twitter, right? Like,
Yeah.
makes a living on Twitter. She is a lawyer.
Well,
She's a journalist.
Somebody tagged us, and I can't even keep up. Like I've just given up. Somebody
Yeah.
tagged me about an hour ago on her shit, and it just went.
Yeah.
Is
You
this better?
got us now?
Are we good? Yeah, it's
100%.
better. There she is.
Excellent.
Yes.
I was saying
Um,
it's fair. I think Lachlan's taking a measured approach.
Mhm.
So I support that,
Yeah.
weigh your options.
I'm cautiously waiting into
Something
the
he's
Karima
always
waters.
accused of.
Yeah, no, he
Measured.
never cautiously waits for anything. He's just concerned for you because you locked your account. And I can't tell you, Karima, how many people over the, and I haven't even told you this, even though you and I've been talking pretty much all day. And by the way, what we're going to get to today will make you laugh for days. Trust me. But people have been emailing me going, is Karima all right? Can you check in on her? Why'd she lock her account? I know why you locked your account, but you've caused quite a stir just by putting that little lock on your Twitter account. So tell us why. What is going on with you? I know. I just can't wait to share it with everybody else.
It's really not that deep. And it's funny because it seems that whether I say something or say nothing and kind of retreat or speak up, there are critics regardless. So the take from this is I will do whatever the fuck I want going forward because everyone complains anyway. I locked my account for reasons that it's irrelevant for this purpose. I actually had intended to stay away from the fray a little bit longer than I did, but I learned that there are narcs who will send screenshots to people, which I suppose with 44,000 people or accounts rather, because I'm sure they're not all people, it's prone to happen. And so that's kind of it. I guess this leads into today's situation. But despite being locked, I still endured a pylon yesterday and brought that to an end this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm going to get to how you brought it to an end, but let me just recap for Locke and for Ryan. So Karima is investigating a few people. Now, and a few organizations, as are we. It is a group think project. However, she's doing all the work. I just like to say it's a group think project because then it makes me look like I'm doing some of the work.
I'm
not.
also involved.
Yes, you are now.
Casually.
Yeah, doing some of the work. And what Karima's trying to do, if I can say so myself, is a couple things have happened, right? I don't know if you want to get to the reasons why you locked your account in terms of the specifics of it, but last week, 2 weeks ago, you were asked to help represent Jeremy McKenzie at the Emergency Act hearing, correct? You were asked by a guy named Sharif Foda. Now, Jeremy McKenzie, obviously, Diagolon, you got a lot of hate out there. And all the information about Jeremy McKenzie came from this one source that has since been filtered out to everybody, and that one source is the Anti-Hate Network. Now, let's just put that off to the side, okay? Now, the Anti-Hate Network has a group of people called proxies. So they've got a bunch of people that run around and tweet at people, put things into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They just basically spread division, sewer people, make these incredibly ridiculous statements. And they have set their sights, from what I can see, Karima, some of these proxies that have kind of hammered you in the past have really picked up in the past couple of weeks since you were asked as a lawyer to represent Jeremy McKenzie at the Emergency Act hearing. That's when I saw things really start to change, right? And let me just kind of back up too. What Karima has done for the past couple of years is document things. She's documented the convoy. She's documented the paraders. She's documented the anti-vaxxers. She's documented Doug Ford. She's documented the political machine. She documents culture. That is what she does, and it's what she's been doing for 2 solid years. I know this woman extremely well. When you decided that you were going to take this opportunity to do some legal work for Sharif Foda, who was representing Jeremy McKenzie, I've never seen anybody get attacked like you got attacked.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one person. It was a bunch of people and accounts attached to the Anti-Hate Network, or that were sympathetic to the things that the Anti-Hate Network likes to talk about, and they have talked poorly about you in the past. Now, let's put that aside for a second. As all of these accounts started to attack you, and let's bring a couple of them up. Here's one. This is from several hours ago. This is someone named Tony Weiss. Tony Weiss is a proxy of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. I happen to know the real name of the person that runs that account, and I'm not going to divulge it here because I watched Brendan Miller throw his life away the other day, and I'm not about to do that. So let me say this, is that this is a Photoshop of someone who is attached to the
It looks real.
Anti-Hate Network, photoshopping your face on Dave Chappelle as a crack addict. That is an organization that's supposed to be stopping hate. What they're doing is inventing it here. Now, this is where
I wouldn't have known that was the Chappelle skit.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't until right now.
Photoshop
Now-
skills.
Makes sense. Yes.
What's that?
Fantastic.
Now that you say it, he did have that jacket on, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
there
wanna
are
do
lots of these
all the
accounts,
crack.
though. There are lots of these accounts that have been coming after you, and they get these supports, right, Karima? Like, this is explain this one to me as best you understand it, and then we'll get to the email or the tweet underneath it from this person known as Wicked Chick, and then we'll get to the video that you recorded today. So, am I kind of right in my assessment so far that, you know, when the Jeremy McKenzie stuff happened, they targeted you, or it sure felt like you got targeted, and a lot of these people are associated with the Anti-Hate Network, and this is picked up tenfold, which is probably one of the reasons why you locked your account. Am I kind of onto something here? And then we'll get to lock.
Yeah, like this has really, it's been a constant, I'd say, since last July. And the recent uptick likely had to do with the inquiry. You know, the narratives that are spread about me sort of center on the idea that I am motivated only by money or attention or clout, as they phrased it in that awful meme. Just awful in the sense that it was poorly executed. Like, you know, the actual, I can't be hurt by those things anymore. But yeah, you have it basically right. I think it's a cultural thing, and maybe specific to our time and generation, but probably could be extrapolated more broadly. But this idea that if you communicate with someone, you are collaborating. Like, there's no distinction anymore that allows for any sort of openness. You are required to hate the other side, right? Deplatform, fame, dehumanize. And if you don't live up to that, you're a traitor and you don't have sufficient allegiance. And it effectively requires everyone to be in perfect lockstep at any given moment. And if you step out of line with your opinion, you yourself may be at the center of the firing squad. That's been my experience of it. And, you know, it has played out online over and over again repeatedly. I would say there is a core group of accounts that have targeted me, but it is a revolving door of sorts, and random people can get swept up in these narratives because it's a very skillful approach of sort of decontextualizing, using keywords that will trigger people to respond emotionally, you know, resting assured that no one is actually going to go to the source of a particular quote or thread or tweet or video and simply rely on these mischaracterizations, which, you know, portray me as bigoted, or a plant for white supremacy is one that came up today. Just total absurdities if you actually consume my content.
That's my favorite one.
Oh, dude, I gotta show you. Can I show some of these? Karima, do you mind
Yeah,
if I show
sure.
some of these? Dude, yeah, they're calling her a plant for white
Since you hang out with
Yeah.
3 white guys all the time, right?
Yeah,
So-
that's what it
Your
is.
fault, right.
But they said that in one of the tweets, did they
They
not?
do.
They're like, she endears herself to the white power machine by hanging around with 3 white guys. That's what she said.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
we're
what they're saying.
the
I'm like,
white power machine.
yeah. Okay. So let's dig into some of it. This is Erica or Phil.
Hold
Is
on.
that her
before
name?
before we dig into this specifically, I think that something needs to be said out loud
Please, yeah. Go ahead.
about Karima's intentions, and maybe I have the luxury of being a friend of Karima's and knowing her and knowing what her values are and what she holds dear. Because why? Because I've actually listened to her when she's fucking spoken. And she doesn't have to endure herself to a particular side or a movement or even agree with what's happening, but she agrees with the system that she is a part of. And the
Yeah.
system that she is a part of has very strict rules and regulations revolving around how you get prosecuted. Because guess what? We live in a democracy, and we live in a democracy with rules and regulations revolving around the legal system, right? And Karima believes
Is a
very
lawyer.
strongly in that. And when was asked to defend somebody that she may not necessarily side with politically or ideologically or any of it,
Mhm.
had to put aside that and put in front of that her beliefs in the foundations of our legal system. So if
The
you can't
fabric of the
fucking
country.
respect
Someone's gotta
that,
do it.
if you can't respect that, then I'm sorry, you are a useless piece of shit. You shouldn't be in this country. Seriously, you shouldn't be allowed to accept the freedoms of this country
Yeah.
if you don't actually have respect for what Karima did. Because
Big
as
time.
soon as she told me she was doing it, I was like, really? Jeremy,
Well, to-
okay.
to be
and then
fair,
she said,
like,
but I have to because this is the system. And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay. Karima is better
And
than
she's
all
a
of us.
lawyer. She is a fucking
Yeah.
lawyer who took a
it's-
case. Go ahead, Karima.
Ultimately,
Go ahead.
like, I think that's relevant, and I appreciate that it, you know, people get confused.
Wait a
It's a red
second.
herring.
Can we just take a second?
completely
Can we just take a
irrelevant.
second because Lachlan just poured his heart out, and then we're like, Karima, what do you think? She goes, that's irrelevant.
That's
Actually,
pretty much
But it is.
pretty much your point is just bullshit, Lock.
Sorry,
thanks
Oh,
for
it's
coming
really
today.
Lachlan. Thank you. I do. And like that's the case for like any of my cases, right? Like it's irrelevant, and I can't talk about it because I have professional obligations that I do uphold, and that is more important than online popularity. So that's the situation there, and more generally speaking, it all ties into the idea of discourse and civility, and that gets misconstrued as, oh, are you saying that we should be nice to blah blah blah? But like, I'm saying that everyone should be treated as humans. And I think that a lot of the interpersonal division and strife that exists really distracts us from what matters.
Yeah.
And what matters is state and corporate oppression.
And that distraction I'm glad she brought that up, because we're all dealing with that on some level, whether it's in your own personal life, whether it's work. A lot of us are dealing with that. And not only that, we're not being true to ourselves. We're actually hiding behind these, not discussing or not communicating with people because of these boxes that everybody puts each other in so quickly.
Yeah, like if I talk to that guy, they're going to put me in that box, so I'm not going to talk to that guy.
Yes.
Right?
Or I even told this story. I told it again last week here on the podcast. I have my pillows, right? And I hid them from the movers because I was worried people.
He didn't want the movers to think he was a Trumper.
I was supporting my. I've had those pillows for a lot of years.
I just love his pillows.
So good.
I legitimately put them in black
bags,
black garbage bags. I mean, and I legitimately was worried. I was like, "Oh, I better hide those.
All right,
moves are going to come. They're going to think I'm a Trumper."
Let me get hang on, Trumper. Let me get to Lachlan the Trumper. Let me get to some of the harassment, because this is harassment. Okay, what I saw and why you locked your account. You're one of the toughest people I know, right? And you lock your account for whatever fucking reasons you want. You locked your account because it's your account. Do whatever you want. But first of all, just give me a heads up next time you do it, because I've had to answer 4 million people's like, is she okay? I'm like, yeah, fuck, she's fine. But this is one of the reasons why you locked your account. And there's a lot of these reasons, but let's deal with Erica. If Erfel, is that how you say her name? Whatever. So she's been after you for a while. These are some of the tweets. Anyone who can lob the shit she does and have her tweets protected so she doesn't have to face the consequences is not an ally. If you think she is, she can troll and prey on people without accountability. Get the fuck out of here, she says. So a little bit of harassment. You're not asking for this. She somehow assumes that you locking your account means that you're afraid of her. I can tell you, Erica, that is not the case. Let's get to another tweet. This is you saying, between Elizabeth Simons and Hazel Woodrow, why are the female staff at the Canadian Anti-Hate Network so camera shy? There you go. Because today you decided you were going to go to this beautiful online harassment targeting women journalist panel, right? Like you bought tickets for this. You wanted to go to this because you're a woman in journalism. You wanted to go and see who these people were talking about, and if indeed some of them were real. Anyway, so she then takes issue with it, and these are some more of your tweets. We'll get back to those in just a second. I noticed that you're taking heat, so I go, hey, listen, a lot of women dump all over Karima Rules because she's better than they are. Not a bad intention in Karima's body, best human being I know. That's when Erica and her friends started to come out. Look at her. She's like, they love to protect their house staff. So she's assuming I'm calling you house staff. That's nice, isn't it?
No, she's assuming
really
that they're calling us the house staff.
Oh, we're the house staff. That's
No,
house. Okay.
I'm the house staff.
Oh, you're the house staff.
Oh, you're You're the house staff, and we're the masters. Is that correct? That's kind of how I read that. Yeah. So, virulent racism from Joy.
That characterization.
Yeah, I would too. Girl, plantation politics. So she brings up racism again, Erica. Then who cares what Limp Bizkit says? Doesn't even matter. This is where it gets really cool. This is Erica. She is on a fucking heater. White people in my mentions defending Karima tells me everything. They're white and know better and want to tell a black woman who's more real. Well, I don't even give a shit about the rest of it. And this is where it gets real for me. This is where she finally decides, after months of harassing you, that she's going to tell the truth. I'm insulted as someone who does the work that this woman gets praised for, the performance of doing the work. Never invite me to anywhere she is. I won't do any sort of media or anything with her, and I'm glad she hasn't been invited to anything I've been at until today. We'll get to that in just a second. This is where it gets fucking weird. This is lawsuit city for me.
Right here.
Karima is a plant for white supremacy, and I'm taking note of the people, 99% who are white, are on my mentions telling me shit I don't know. What right-wing I don't know what right-wing violence looks like personally. Karima is our Herschel Walker who will say and promote whatever white supremacy wants. Oh, that's where you got in trouble, I'm pretty sure. And here's a bunch of other shit that she says that doesn't even fucking matter. It is like literally women going after Karima, saying that she is an agent of white supremacy.
It's so
now,
bizarre.
what's interesting, isn't it fucking crazy? Karima is a woman of color. This woman is going after Karima, who is a woman of color, telling her she is a racist, white supremacist ally. Now, having said that, do you want to stop being friends so you can get a better reputation? Yes or no?
I was going to say, I mean, it's the representational politics, like be non-white and deliberately, unknowingly uphold either systems of white supremacy or actual white supremacist talking points. Like that in and of itself is, that's in the criticism of the argument. Like where I take issue is that my actual work does not reflect that. So it is possible to be non-white and, harmful to one's community. I just don't fit that bill.
For sure.
No. And here's the other thing that I kind of take issue with is at no point have I ever done this, and I've never seen Dean do this or any other white people on this podcast go, you know what, I'm friends with Karima. Right? Like we're not trying to gain points for being friends.
Points,
we are friends with you because we like you. Not because
just so you know, none of us have hauled out, like none of us have made any racist statements to the point where we need to use you as the buffer between.
I do not grant anyone any cards, just to be clear.
Or get out of racism.
So doesn't you see the irony of doing that on her end? Like she's put you in this position and using you and your color against your beliefs. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, how do you translate that in your mind? Like
that?
Yeah, exactly. Karima.
Did we lose her?
Oh, it's a shame because it's such a. I got to take a screenshot because she looks like she's actually having fun on the podcast, which is really. Are you still there? We got you.
I'm still here. Sorry, I don't know if I froze. I could hear you.
Yeah, you froze, and you look like I took a screenshot of it because you look like you were finally having fun on our show. So.
No, right. For the first time.
To Lachlan's point, what do you make of this? What do you make of, other than jealous, because she admitted it?
She's clearly jealous of you.
Why is this happening? Why are you being targeted, and who do you think is pushing this? Because this is not a singular effort. This isn't one person going, I have an issue with Karima, and everybody else jumping on, because all the people that have issues with you are super hardcore weirdo lefties, like fucking weird, weird, where they invent shit to trap people, which is very reminiscent, in my opinion, of what the Anti-Hate Network does. So what do you make of this? How do you reconcile all this stuff?
I mean, I don't know that it's entirely organic. It is conceivable that there are people who don't like me based on my personality. I accept that, and it's not my goal to be universally loved. But the repetition of certain talking points, the words that are chosen, the narratives that are pushed, makes this look like a more concerted effort. And I trace it back to last summer, where I tried engaging with the far right in a way that was perhaps unorthodox, but worked for me, And the idea that there was some, community resistance to what I was planning to do is just, that's not the case. There were a handful of people who were upset and organized against me, and then I've never been able to redeem myself in their eyes, although I was never seeking redemption. That's what it comes down to, engaging in a different sort of way.
Yeah, let me cut to the chase here. What you're talking about is last summer, not this summer, the summer before. You're getting ready to host Chris Sky, that stupid fucking idiot, and because you're like, I want to watch this. I'm going to give you, and I talked about it. Give him a bunch of rope, watch him fucking work himself into a frenzy.
Shine some sunlight on it.
Yeah, a little sanitization. That's what you wanted to do because you wanted to figure it out. The Anti-Hate Network wrote a hit piece on you. It's all it was. It was a fucking hit piece. And they misrepresented you, said you parroted far-right talking points and all that other stuff. That is where this shit started. Now, what's fascinating about what happened today, right? Not just why you locked your account, all these people coming after you, but I want to get to it. What's fascinating about what happened today is you see this little thing at the bottom here of this tweet, or it says online harassment targeting women journalists panel Wednesday, November 23rd, 1 to 2:30 p.m. See that? Mm-hmm. That happened today. These are the same people that have been harassing you that are hosting a panel on harassment and targeting women journalists. So was it a how? First of all, was it a how-to
topic? By the way,
yeah, was it a how-to harass women journalists, or was it an against harassing women journalists?
I mean, only one of those panelists, to my knowledge, has harassed me, and that was dealt with today. But the reason I was initially interested in this panel, if you pull that image back up, you'll see that there are 4 faces and 1 logo, and I think that the Anti-Hate Network's use of no byline or talking heads whose heads don't actually appear anywhere, who don't have any trace of them. Right? So I don't know. Is this pseudonyms? Are these just common names? And I can't find anything about their credentials or existence outside of the Anti-Hate Network. I don't know. Certainly the organization itself has not been forthcoming. I do not accept the premise or argument that their research, requires some level of state secrecy. I just don't accept that.
It shouldn't. It should be the absolute opposite of that.
Journalists go to war zones,
names,
right? And I've been, myself out on the streets and had to kind of figure out a way to stay safe. And I think that this is an important topic, right? The online harassment. I am intimately familiar with that. So, the panel itself was an interesting substance, and I wanted to see, what's the situation with this anti-hate reporter. And they didn't show. They were there for the sound check via Zoom, and never actually participated in the panel.
So this person who was supposed to be there,
Hazel
Woodrow. Mm-hmm. Is supposed to be there, and there's no picture of her. It's just an anti-hate logo. Mm-hmm. Not only is there no picture of her, when you showed up, she was a no-show. Is that correct? So she was the only
there
person
for the sound check, and then 8 to 10 minutes later, the panel started, and there was no Hazel. So I don't know what happened in that intervening time, but she didn't participate. She's had a few sort of appearances on the news, voice only. And it's not that I'm desperate to see anyone's face, but it's just when you have an organization that's purporting to be sort of this authority and seeks a monopoly on discourse, and, the connections to government are existent at the very least, right? Whether it's funding or through other means.
They're funded by the
their funding.
Government.
Yeah, their funding ended in I believe earlier this year for the one particular grant we know about.
The pseudonyms are funded. These are listen, at the very maybe these people are real. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but there is no proof of life for Elizabeth Simons, who's the executive director. None. There's no proof of
deputy
life.
director, yeah.
Deputy director and Hazel Woodrow. No proof of life. Nowhere on the internet.
I'm going
Don't we
to file
know
my
people-
taxes next year
Nothing.
under a pseudonym and see what happens.
Should.
When
Yeah,
I want to
it's
get
a
money
research
from the government.
pseudonym. Yeah, I'm going
Don't
with
we
Colonel
have people
Sanders
that could
for mine.
track down who is actually behind these accounts?
No, we can't.
I'm on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like working
Okay.
on it, and this was part of that. So this didn't come to fruition, sort of in that sense, but it was a productive afternoon nonetheless.
I do want to weigh in here because so the funding has been canceled.
Not canceled, just the grant, like it
Ran
was
out.
for a set amount
Runs
of
out.
time, and then that time it came to an end.
Okay, so it might be a moot point, but I was like, I'm kind of annoyed that they have these tactics. They call themselves this, and that my tax dollars, limited, mind you, are going towards funding this because this is the third or fourth time I've seen direct examples of people from this organization using hate that are under the umbrella of the anti-hate network. Like it seems mind-boggling to me that you would be a part of that organization and yet use the tactics that you're trying to combat against. Like it's bizarre to me that they get away with it. So I hope they don't get any more funding.
Dude, you know what? I'll tell you. Let's get back to Erica. Lynn's just put this in our DMs. This woman is involved with the Anti-Hate Organization of Canada. Look at one of her tweets. Ooh, now I really have questions for black men who date and marry white women. Like, did you all know this? And did you just ignore them stench?
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
And listen, I'm not here to stand up for white women. I mean, they can sit right next to me in the timeout box of culture, right? For sure. Have a seat
Sure.
right next to me. I get it. I know exactly what's going on. But like the hatred that this woman has continually thrown at Caryma and the rest of the world, I have known about her for a couple of months. She has gone after all kinds of good people, and she has invented all kinds of things that are not racist to make it look like everyone else is but her. And the hate that woman spews online is the most egregious shit I've ever seen in my life. The hate that comes out of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network is unbelievable. If they've got people like that they're setting up these panels with, that they're doing panels with, then they're not really an anti-hate network. Because one of the people that they wanted to talk about online harassment targeting women journalists just got in a lot of trouble for targeting an online female journalist named Karima Assad. Let's get to that. This is a video of you sitting down, waiting patiently to have a little chat with Miss Urfel about an hour and a half ago. Is that right? About an hour and a half, 2 hours ago? Let's watch it together.
Couple hours.
You're wearing the same outfit.
The panel is over. Some very interesting food for thought. I am waiting for an opportunity to
Wait for the look.
address one of the panelists.
Yikes. Ouch. I felt that through the
I'm going to
screen.
show you what happened right after that. This is why I love Caryma. This is why I love working with her. This is why I've got respect for. I mean, I respect her for a billion different reasons, but this is legitimately one of the coolest things you will ever see anybody do to someone who has harassed and stalked them,
For months
called
now,
them
right?
a racist,
Yeah.
made and like brought so much hatred into Karyma's life over the past 2 months. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Watch.
Yes.
I was surprised by some of your insights during this panel and wonder if maybe there's room for introspection.
Sorry, are you back?
Because
This
parts
isn't
of what
actually
you're
a
saying,
public space.
parts of what you're saying
So I'm gonna
easily
go.
apply. I'm gonna give you this
No,
letter.
we're good.
Oh no, but you're being served this letter. It's an opportunity for us to talk about your
What am I being
allegations.
served?
You're being served this letter.
For what?
The contents of the letter inside. It's a notice of libel. You guys talked about using legal recourse as a way to deal with harassment. And that's precisely
You're
what
harassing
I'm
me
doing.
now.
I'm asking you to take
Can
this letter.
somebody remove this person?
This is not actually a public space, so please leave.
Yeah.
Hey, security.
Sure.
That gets you
I think
back
that's
to
okay. Thank you.
I know both of you have your problems. I just don't think this is the right place to do this.
This is the perfect place to do it.
You're not actually entitled to film here. You're not entitled to film here. This is private property.
We're gonna head out.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Wetlaufer here.
No, I would like you to delete that filming, please. This is not private property and you're not entitled to film here. I would like you to delete that filming, please. This is not private property. You're not entitled to film here.
Was that Ryerson?
Need to take the letter.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Does it matter that she didn't take the letter?
No.
No,
What was
she's
it?
been
No,
served.
it touched her, so it doesn't really matter. I'll
Yeah.
email it to her. It's not a big deal.
What
She's
was
been
in the
served
letter?
officially.
What was it? What was in it?
It was a notice of libel for some tweets, and an opportunity really to remedy the situation. So it's not a claim yet. That comes if the appropriate action isn't taken.
Good for
She's
you.
not the only one you've got your eyes on, is she?
Very wide range of vision.
Why?
Fisheye.
She's coming, and I can't wait. Guys, this is what we call schadenfreude. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. I don't care about any of the aesthetics. I care about none of that.
This is
If
why I
you're
stay
a
indoors.
dick,
I just drink every night.
if you're a
Me too.
dick, and if you insult people and you say things that aren't true about people, like, Karima's a plant for white supremacy, and I'm taking a note for the people, 99% who are white are on my mentions telling me shit. I don't know what right-wing politics violence looks like personally. Karima is our Herschel Walker, who will say and promote whatever white supremacy wants. Was that the one that did it?
Actually, I don't think I had seen that tweet by the time I surfed this.
Want me to send it to you?
So I might have to amend, extend, perhaps. We'll see. It's just
Addendums.
irresponsible, right?
Just
It's irresponsible for
very,
someone to call
very.
themselves a journalist and then act like this is normal behavior or discourse, because it's not. And, I get accused of lateral violence. This is lateral violence against me. I don't have an institution backing me. I'm on my own. Yesterday, this woman went out of her way to post screenshots of something that wasn't attacking anyone. I was raising legitimate questions about an organization that is barely arm's length from the government, and a pylon ensued with my hands really tied behind my back because I wasn't going to unlock just to engage in a Twitter battle. And, she tagged me on top of that. So there was a deliberate intent to ensure that my mentions got swarmed by hateful replies for speaking up about a genuine issue, and for what? And then all of these ad hominem attacks that are crass and, just unbecoming of someone who fancies themselves any kind of warrior for democracy.
Anti-hate warrior? Are you talking about?
It's
You
bizarre.
saying?
There is no
Anti-hate.
hate like anti-hate.
Oh, I mean, it's all out in the open now, right? And here's the thing. I'll tell you guys something. I sent the executive director a note about 2 months ago because we're working on
It is.
a series. Kareem working on an incredible series. We're working on a few series about stuff like this, culture, extreme right, extreme left, that kind of stuff, the bad actors and stuff like that. So I sent them a note. I'm like, hey, Bernie, just wanted to figure out whether or not some of this is true, this person, that person. Could you maybe hit me back? And I got a few days later, got a note from someone else saying they didn't find my request to be genuine at all. And so they're not going to talk to me about it. And every person I know that has made a request of them to say, are these people real? Why are you attacking Karima? Why are you going after, don't worry about it, I love dogs. Why are you going after Karima? It's been attack after attack after attack, and then silence, like silence from the network, silence from their proxies. So today what Karima did is take her power back. What Karima did was say, hey, you go ahead and do this. I'm going to open up a can, and I'm going to do it every time. And I sat and watched people start deleting tweets after we put that video out of you serving her libel notice. And it was fast and furious. Now, there's nowhere for anybody to go when you say, listen, we're going to go figure this out in a court of law. Let's have someone else figure this out because I'm tired of your shit. And Karima has acted above reproach. Karima is about as unbiased a person as I have ever met in my life, to the point where it made me angry sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that she does or says. And I'm usually wrong when I disagree with her. Case in point, she decides she's going to work with Sharif Foda to represent Jeremy McKenzie, who I can't fucking stand, right? Can't stand the guy for a bunch of reasons that I won't get into, but very good ones. And so she tells me about it, and I'm like, And do you remember what I said to you? Remember what I said, I hope it goes poorly for you.
Yeah, and Kareem and I had a chat in the DMs as that kind of melted down as well at the same time. And I said to her, I said, I have zero fucking respect for that guy. I have no I'm not aligned in any universe with him. But I understand what you're doing and where your mindset and your heart is with when it comes to democracy and the law of this land. And somebody bigger than me standing up for somebody that's, in my view, a piece of shit. I'm sorry, but like, how can you argue your morals and where you stand? Like that's you're a bigger person than all of us here.
Well, she's a lawyer.
Like, that's what I mean.
You know, she does multiple things really well. She's a lawyer.
I wear different hats at different times, and I think that's what upsets people, that I don't fit neatly into any box, and and
they want you to. So their way of getting you to get on side with the woke losers and the fucking Antifas, is
like Chelsea Hillier is in my mentions, being like, "This is great." This is great. You switch sides. I'm like, no, there are no sides. Like, it's an illusion to think of sides. It's just
justice is blind, and you respect that, and you're there just to uphold the rights of the individual. It's got nothing to do with personal opinion of the matter. Correct?
My interest, and yes, correct on all of that. But my interest really in the anti-hate network stems out of what was an attempt to silence me, right? To have me canceled and shut up. And if you look through their policy papers or their editorials, it's a very leans into censorship. And of course, I recognize that there are limits on expression. And hate speech is the obvious sort of example there. But if we are too quick to define what is hateful, then the ability to communicate ideas, if that's divorced from actual harm, we are eroding a cornerstone of democracy. So speech is not a right-wing value. Free speech is not a right-wing value. I will say that with my full chest, and I'm right. So I'm that's the issue that I'm working on here.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
And listen, it's unpopular. That is an unpopular position to take. One in the middle.
But we need people like Karima, and we desperately need people. And the thing is, what Karima is doing takes more courage than anything anybody else is doing online. I'll tell you right now, you will not convince me that your attempts to get your side across, or however you're doing it, fighting with grandma and all of it, none of it is as brave as what Karima is doing, because she's got to stand up for something that is not. Do you know how many
people fucking wilt under the pressure of like some kind of social media campaign where someone's like, I saw that guy talk to this guy, that means he's a white supremacist. I saw that person help that person, that means they're a white supremacist. I'll tell you something. I took huge heat for having Tom Marazzo on this show. Huge. Yeah. Massive. Everyone
I didn't even talk to the fucking guy, and I was
Ryan wouldn't even come on the show. Yeah, I know. Like, right. And you know what I said to Tom after he blocked me, and I'm having him on the show today? I said to Tom, listen, if you ever need a place to stay in the winter, let me know. I'll help you out with it. Because I fucking like human beings. I don't like the ideologies. I don't like how they act. but I look at everybody under the same microscope. Do I dislike certain groups more than
Okay,
others?
you can
Fucking
stay
right.
when you come to Edmonton. I'm sorry.
You guys are gonna have to invoke. You guys are gonna have to invoke an emergencies act to get them out of your houses.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you'd probably stay for like 3 years. I'm like, dude, are you leaving soon? He's like, I don't know. I haven't even shaved yet.
I told you I haven't had a chance to talk to my wife yet. Jesus, Dean.
But
This is not
and
legal
we're-
advice, but if you're
example.
sharing a kitchen and washroom, a different set of rules apply. So we'll talk in advance.
Okay. Yeah, let me know. I don't even know if he'd make
That
it
is-
out alive after the 4th day, but I'm willing to help him, is what I'm saying. I'm willing to help anybody when they're like, hey, listen, I need some help. If you and I have a difference of opinion, great. And if that help that you need lies within so let's say this happens, right? Karima, you're a lawyer. That's your job. That's what you're trained to do. You got hired as a lawyer by someone that was representing Jeremy McKenzie. That's unpassable during the Emergency Act hearing, which is the biggest hearing in the history of this country. You're an idiot if you don't take it from a fucking career resume standpoint. Having said all that, I hate Jeremy McKenzie. I like Caryma. I don't understand I didn't understand at the time when she said she was going to do this, why she was going to do it. Because in my mind, I was thinking like you're thinking, Locke, like you're thinking, Rye, and like everybody out there thinks. It's like, well, if she does that,
We all
that means
cringe.
she's on his team. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean any of that shit. As a matter of fact,
No, it's lazy.
none of us here are on any of your teams.
No.
None. We hate both your teams, all of your teams. We're on Team Common Sense, which is the vast majority of people. So the silent, stupid people are people
and
that
I'm
have
on
a
the
vested
fence on the
interest, like
common sense thing.
anti-hate.ca and other people. Their interest is their reputation because this is where they make money, right?
Yeah.
Karima's interest is the truth. 100%. That is it. That is all. And so when the truth lines up with the right, the left gets pissed. When the truth lines up with the left, the right gets pissed. But let me tell you this about both of those sides. They can fuck off forever because you're irrelevant. If you put left or right in your bio, conservative or liberal in your bio, you're a useless member of society. No one gives a fuck about anything you say anymore. There's this
lazy.
massive swath of people in the middle that are of all different colors that are so tired of your shit. And what I saw today when Karima served that lady, that was a woman saying, you know what? I'm fucking tired of it. Here comes the middle, right up the middle. Let's have fun and see where this ends. That's what I love about what Karima did today. Loved it.
I agree.
Thanks for
I
coming.
agree. And if anything, I totally echo everything you just said, Dean. You're lazy. If you think that it's very easy to sit on a side and say I'm on Team Trudeau or I'm on Team Pierre, and whatever they say goes, whatever their followers say goes, and there's zero room for discussion in the middle, you're lazy. And you are the problem in this country. You are the reason everybody says this country's so fucking divided. The only reason why it's divided is because of people like that. You are the division.
Something happened where these ideologies and the sides they represent, whether you call it left or right, conservatives, it doesn't matter. Something happened a couple years ago where you had to defend it till you died. And if you didn't defend it, then you were the worst version of the other side that they hated. Like, you know, I don't know where down the road when we have time to sort of dissect what we've been going through a little bit closer over the last couple of years, someone's got to figure that out. I don't know what happened. What was the trigger point? Because it happens on both sides. We had an issue this morning where I was on the air not defending Danielle Smith's comments yesterday, but I tuned in to hear the QAnon. Like I had my QAnon bingo card ready to go. I thought she was going to say something crazy, and she didn't. Instead, she just sort of took all of what I think Rachel Notley would have said if she was in the same position, and then just started throwing a bunch of money at people, and everyone's wildly confused. And I was like, well, that's no fun because we can't do a grant report on it. So I commented on it, and then people are like mad at me because but I didn't defend Danielle Smith. I just said, hey, I think she might have bridged the gap in the polls between her and Rachel last night because she was actually normal.
She embraced socialism. It was fantastic, actually. Alberta is now embracing
Oh, you can't-
socialism through the UCP.
you can't-
It's fantastic.
But you can't call it socialism when it comes from the UCP.
No,
It's
only when it's
common
NDP.
sense and fiscally responsible.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No,
Oh,
you
man,
can't
we're
say
all-
you can't
we're all in
say you
trouble.
like something. You can't do anything now with someone telling you that you're a white supremacist or you're this or you're that. I can tell you what Karima is better than all of those people. That's
And she's
really
a white
the problem.
supremacist.
Here's the thing.
And a white supremacist.
And a white
yeah,
supremacist,
absolutely.
totally, yeah. Yeah. And an ally of David Duke or something
I
like
knew
that.
you shouldn't have made friends with white people. I knew it was going to hurt your
Yeah,
reputation.
do you think the reason why those guys at Diagonal think you're
Walker.
cool now is because you're like, hey, we always thought you weren't cool because you talk to Dean and those guys all the time. And it's like, actually, maybe she is cool because she only talks to white guys on podcasts.
Fuck. She's fuck. Did you guys
It
hear
is kinda
Herschel
pale in
Walker
here
say
usually. You're right.
erection instead of election last
Yeah.
night?
So
Yeah,
good.
by the way, that was the most insulting thing. Her calling you the Herschel Walker of Canada.
That
That
guy
guy's
is-
brain dead.
He
Andy
is very
No, Candace Owens, Herschel Walker. Like, it's just all of these absurd comparisons.
Owens.
And like,
They called you Kansas Owens too.
yeah, they call me Candace Owens. Another what? Sean King. Like, what are you guys talking about?
See what like you want to talk about you're the face of a movement that's supposed to be moving us forward, and all you're doing is pushing it back tenfold. It's
Yeah.
a
But dude, if
tenfold
you
move
watched
back.
anti-hate over the past couple of years, like I've had a couple of pretty salty interactions with them. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: is that this is what they do. They
Yes.
label people, right? And they label people for racist reasons, political reasons, maybe. I mean, we'd have to look into it. I kind of have a feeling that the labeling portion of what they do is the real fucking point, right? It's let's figure out if we can hang a label on Caryma for the next little while because she's eating our lunch and she's making us look ridiculous on a daily basis with her common sense and the fact she's not on team hard left granola eating ass wiping Kensington Market coffee drinking loser. That's the problem.
I like
Yeah,
Kensington
and
Market.
yeah, I know I like Kensington. I do. They have great coffee. down
It's
there.
funny though that somehow that organization has positioned itself as the far left because it's run by some pretty neoliberal,
Yeah.
lowercase c conservative individuals. So like that itself is an illusion, and people just I'm working
They're
on
chasing the
peeling
money,
that
though.
back.
Well, do you remember?
Right,
So
like-
a couple weeks ago, do you know John Kay, who used to be on the show? John Kay from time to time.
You
That
pissed him
fucking
off.
weirdo.
Yeah.
So weird.
I
Frisbee
like
golf
John.
guy.
I
Yeah,
like
they didn't
John.
like wine. I knew he
from
was
Alberta,
bad when
of
he
course
didn't
he
like
did.
wine gums.
Yeah, that's when I knew he was an idiot too. So John Kay was sued by one of the guys at the Anti-Hate Network to the tune of like 35 grand. It was just in the news. And he and his mom were sued by them after being, this is just my opinion, what it appeared to be
His mom.
provoked. Oh yeah, Barb, whatever. She's like 100. They're like, let's
His
sue them.
mom.
And John is an outspoken white privilege guy. Like he fucking is always talking about how people
He's
are
pretty
coming
smart
for
though.
Super anti-trans
Unfortunately,
guy
yeah.
too. Yeah.
hates
Yeah.
the trans, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Does
we
he?
don't have anything to do with
Oh,
him
yeah.
because I don't want to be stuck with that reputation.
No, it's terrible.
Like we just finished talking about not being stuck with people's reputations. I won't have anything to do with them because I'm afraid of my reputation. No. So Richard Warman, who was with Anti-Hate
shampoo,
Network, this
too.
is a true story. Just lost a lawsuit to the tune of I think $35,000, if I'm not mistaken. And to John Kay and Barber Kay, Richard had a lawyer. John and Barber didn't. They present their information to the judge. Judge is like, this is ridiculous. This isn't libel.
They
Not
had a
only
lawyer
that,
too. They did have a lawyer.
they did have a
Okay.
lawyer? Okay, I didn't think they did. And if I'm to understand it correctly, they also, the judge admonished Mr. Warman from the Anti-Hate Network for using this as a tactic in the past and did think that that's what he was doing here. Goading people into a lawsuit and then finding a way to make money off it. Is that correct? Is that is that assumption right? And I hate
He-
John.
Anti-slap-
But I tweeted him
slap
and I'm like,
thing.
hey, you won. Good for you. And he's like, I thought you hated me. I go, oh, I do. I hate you just like I hate them, but I hate you a little bit less.
The judge
thing,
found that
yeah.
there was a pattern of basically stifling civil discourse and what essentially amounts to entrapment. It was funny because the Anti-Hate Network characterized it as a loss on a technicality. But like they lost on the merits. They lost.
What are they, the
even,
Leafs?
you know, like every single loss they experienced. So it was not a technicality. It was just a crummy lawsuit. And
what is the point of this organization? I'm sorry. Like you guys keep presenting these stories to me about like, what are they doing? Are they just, because all I've ever seen is them just fighting people online, which just doesn't make any sense.
Ostensibly, they are a watchdog of sorts that, you know, report on what they consider to be far-right movements or personalities. You know, they had a posting to infiltrate groups, which I find a little bit just concerning, because to me that, you know, for $55,000 a year, with, I don't think that there were benefits, you know, that seems risky if we're talking about something that's dangerous and you're supposed to output like 2 to 3 stories per week. How can you do that and be accurate and keep your identity? Like, it's just it's like fake CSIS, and really not that far separated from CSIS. So if I disappear mysteriously,
That's scary.
Anyway, point being, I don't know really what they don't. They produce research, but just, like, I don't put much value.
Here's what you want to know what I think. This is just my opinion. From all to answer your question, Locke, if you want my opinion on what they are a kettling agency on behalf of the government. That's how I look at it. Now, you can say that you're government funded and you can get a bunch of money, but until I see proof of life for Elizabeth Simons, this person who apparently there is no record of that affects Hazel, but Woodrow, specifically Elizabeth, who has affected speech laws in this country, who has spoken to and on behalf of the government, for the government, as definitive proof as to who is racist and who isn't. It's almost like they're the self-styled measuring stick of who's racist, who's anti-Semitic, and along the way, maybe some political opponents might get caught up in it. Maybe some people, that's my opinion, is that someone like Caryma is now the target of an anti-hate network that takes money from the government to tell everybody that they're here to combat hate. And they sponsored this event where a woman who is absolutely harassed and stalked and libeled and slandered Caryma for the past several months is associated with them. And all the people that are associated with them have been doing the same things this other woman has been doing. So if you ask me what they are, is they're a very influential organization of a group of people that use this for a multitude of different reasons, not just for the perception of being Canada's legitimate anti-hate network. I would love for them to be. That's what I said to him in a note. I wish they were what they said they were. It just doesn't appear that they are.
I put this in the Linz report last week where I said they have a place here. They should be in our democracy. I think there is a place for an anti-hate organization that does advise and give balanced, nonpartisan advice to the government, because it shouldn't be used as a scoreboard for the government to point at, which is what it feels like now. Because you don't hear, like, they're not touted by the feds. You don't hear them being like lauded publicly.
No, there are ministers. There are ministers actually who have given some pretty open
praise
support. Yeah,
really. Oh, okay, so no, it just seems like something, like you say, it flies under the radar, but it seems very too influential to be able to fly under the radar the way it does, and I don't like that. It seems very secretive. It seems very it's not transparent, even though it seems to be like it should be born out of transparency and dialogue and open.
The most transparent. When you're the person that gives people working titles as racists, you should be the most transparent, especially
you should back that shit up.
Yeah.
Like if you're technically you're an agent of the government at that point, where you should be held liable. You imagine any other government employee coming on Twitter calling Karima fucking Herschel Walker, or any member of the Canadian Society, like calling them racist. If you don't have fucking receipts, pal, and you're from the government, I'm going to see you in every level of court that I can have you in, if that was against me. And I hope that's where Kareem is heading with this, because we gotta kick this. This needs daylight, and Karima's the person to do it.
I think Karima's on to something.
I think so too.
I don't want to give too much up, but I'm pretty sure she's got this covered. That's all I'm saying. Karima, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This
Good
was
luck,
fun.
Karima.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're big
I'm
fans
sorry
of
we're
yours.
so white.
I'm a terrible white guy. Or I really
I'm
am.
really white. Like I'm so
Oh,
white
no,
when I
but
get
like I was
when I
thinking
get
about
too
it, we
hot,
gotta-
I go red.
I'm watching I'm watching
Also, when
all
I
of
drink,
these.
I go red.
But I'm
Like, it's
watching like
just-
people in the same listen, I'll just say it's people of color, race, religion, people in the same groups
Yeah.
going after each other. And I was thinking about it today. Like, what makes me I hope I'm a bad white guy, right? Like one that breaks the mold of other white guys. Because like the most vilified person, rightfully so, colonialism, all that stuff. Rightfully so. We've had it pretty good. We've had a lot of privilege. So I like to give mine away. And a friend of mine said that to me the other day. He goes, "You're a fucking terrible white guy." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You don't act like a white guy. You don't throw your fucking privilege around. You use it
Should
for
be a
other people."
compliment.
Do you know? And this is a dude. He's like, "Do you know how many people that pisses off in this world?" I go, "Tell me, because now I'm excited."
Good. Good.
But I think Karima, to your point, there are people out there who are terrible representatives of the worst parts of themselves. And there are people who just represent the human race, what's right, the truth, accountability. And that is why we're friends. Because every single person on here, including Lachlan, he might call himself a great white guy. He's also a terrible white guy because he wants the same things you do. We want the truth. We want you to treat everybody that you come into contact with kindness, respect, love, dignity, whether you disagree with me or not. Because you disagree with me or you do something or work with someone I don't like, that will never affect the way that I treat you. So if people out
By
there
the way,
understood that today,
I would like to
world would be
point
a better
out
place.
that when I found out that you were doing that, both of them contacted you and went, "What the hell are you thinking?" I let you tell me, and then I said, "Good for you, Kareem." So I'm the better white guy on this fucking panel.
There you go.
I appreciate all of you white people. Not always, but and just to your point, Dean, of doing this in service of truth, that is what motivates me. But even if it were true that I do it for the clout or the money, so fucking what? I'm allowed to be ambitious. Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And on that note,
That's
Karima
how we
Rules
wrap
on
up
Twitter.
with Karima.
Sadvocacy.com is where you can find her. Give her a follow. Go and watch the video of her serving someone with libel notice that's harassed her for months. Basically the best shot in Freud you'll ever see. Talk to you soon, Karima. Thanks so much for doing this.
Good to see you,
Bye.
Karima.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe,
Karima.
please.
We'll fucking talk about going out on a heater, eh?
That's how you do it.
Fuck right off.
That's how you leave a room. That's a mic drop if I've ever seen
She's
one.
awesome.
Boom! So I had a guy stick his fingers in my ears for a prolonged period of time today.
I cannot
that's-
wait to hear how this goes.
Did you get aroused at all?
No. Thankfully.
I am
Because-
just hearing about the story though.
Well, I wanted to ask you
Because
guys. We're going
that's,
for a
that's an
haircut.
androgynous point, right?
Well, I know. So I know. You mean an erogenous, not androgynous.
Sorry.
Androgynous. That's a homogenous zone to Lachlan. Thanks, Ricky.
I can't tell if my ears are guys or girls. It's probably androgynous.
It's very androgynous. One's male, one's
You knew what
female.
I was talking about.
I got non-binary ears. So I go for a haircut today. Haven't had one in a long time. My kids are like,
we
"Dude,"
noticed.
I look like an idiot.
I
My
need a
sons
haircut, too.
my sons all got fresh haircuts. They're like, "Dude, you got to get a haircut." I live with 3 boys. They're all
Yeah.
basically adults. They're the fucking best things in my life. And I'm like, I'm not listening to you assholes. I'm going to let this grow. And my one son goes, "Dude, come with me to where I go." And I go, "Okay, let's go to the bar." So we did this morning. We go get coffees, breakfast, go to the hairdresser salon. It's a barber shop. I walk in. Guy's like, "What can I do you for?" I go, "A haircut." That's why I'm here.
Can't you
He's
tell?
like,
Look
come
at this
on and
fucking
sit
mob.
down. So I go and sit down.
Business
It's like,
in the
long
front,
time since
party
your
in the
haircut, eh,
back.
fella? And I'm like, a long time, probably about 6-8 months. Can't remember the last time I had a haircut. He's like, well, welcome. Would you like a wash and a haircut? I go, no, I really don't. I just want to get out of here as fast as I can because the World Cup of Soccer is happening. Canada hasn't been in for 36 years. Buzz me in and buzz me out, fella. He's like, no problem. Took an hour. During the haircut, he's doing his thing. I'm not paying attention because I'm getting a haircut. I just kind of got my eyes closed. And he's like, time to wash your hair. I'm like, I didn't request the wash, but I'm not going to make a scene here. I'm just going to go behind him to the sink. So I went
polite.
down, sat back in the sink. My son's over there, fresh haircut. I'm like, I'll be 5 minutes. He's like, dude, it's been a fucking hour. Your hair's not that important. I'm like, I know, I hate it too. So I put my head back. He starts running the water through my hair, washes it nice. Then he takes a towel out, starts washing my hair. Then he takes the towel in one finger and a towel in the other finger, and he jams.
Oh, I thought he
fingers
just did
in my ear.
this.
No. Jams both his fingers in my ears. Now,
Like
that
through
was
the towel.
off-putting.
With
Through the towel.
Oh,
With the
Okay,
towel.
that's okay.
Oh,
He shoved
this
his
is
fingers. No,
still
hang on, I'm not done. I'm
prophylactic
not done.
there.
No,
You're fine.
I'm not done. So he's
Okay.
got his fingers in my ear holes, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and he's like, and I go,
No, he didn't.
yeah.
No, he
What was
didn't.
that?
No.
And then he kept his fingers in my ears for at least 5 to 7 seconds. And
That's
I'm
weird.
like,
That's a show. Of
and then he
dominance.
started moving around. And I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then he
What'd you-
takes his fingers out of my ears. And I'm like this. I get up, walk over to the chair. I sit down, and I'm staring at him like, what was that for? Like,
That's
what does
really
that mean?
weird.
What is-
I don't even know what that is.
I'm 49. I've had thousands of haircuts. My mom's a hairdresser. Never once did she
Never.
shove her fingers in my ears for 5 to 7 seconds after a haircut. Never once. So I just wanted to ask you guys, has ever happened to you?
Never.
Never
That's
once?
never happened to me.
Ever had someone? No.
I've never had anybody dry. No, even back
Dry
when
your
I
ear
used my
holes?
no
For
when I
an
used to
extended
get like
time?
I would have
when I
punched
went-
him.
outside haircuts. I haven't had an outside haircut in fucking years, but I guarantee there
I
would have
would've-
been.
I would have clocked him.
I would not
I
have been
swear
as
to God,
polite as
like-
you. It wouldn't have just been. It wouldn't have just been a quizzical look for me. Let's just say that there would have been. Words
Although-
It's a
exchanged.
great way to describe it. Quizzical is a really great way to describe it. Off-putting and quizzical are two great words.
Yeah,
Very quizzical. And I knew what he was doing.
Is
Like
he
I knew
new?
I had
Is
water
he
in my
new?
ears. I don't know. Gave me
Like,
a
is he
nice
new to
haircut.
the business?
I don't know. No,
Did
he
you
seemed
have
to know
water
what
in
he's
your ear?
doing. I don't know. I didn't. Dude, he washed my hair so
This is
fast that it
bizarre.
was like out of nowhere. Both his fingers were in my ears for like 5 seconds. And
was
I'm like,
somebody else lifting money out of your wallet at this time? Did somebody have their hand on your crotch? What was going on here on the outside? Did you have any?
Yeah.
Because I would have been
No.
so focused on that, they could have
nothing.
robbed me blind. I wouldn't even have known.
Yeah.
Okay, so like it never happened to you. Do you guys think it
No.
like should I? No,
I'd file a human
that
rights
off-putting?
complaint. Yeah,
no, I'm not that weird.
call the police.
You sure it was 2 fingers?
Yeah, how was he brushing your hair at the same time?
Your head was in his lap?
Explain
Was
that.
your head in his lap?
Was there candles?
Did you make eye contact?
Was he running his fingers through your hair with his other hand?
What's your head is? That explains my right ear, but what's in my left? Ben.
Ben. That was definitely Ben.
That's bizarre. I
That
don't
is
even know what to
bizarre.
say. I'm throwing.
That's what I'm saying. I
And he did a little. He did this too. He did a little. So it was
Well,
intentional. He was doing.
You got to go back. You got to go back next time you need a haircut. We need to know if this
I don't think I
happens
can.
twice.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I don't
go
think I
back.
can.
Go back.
You have
And next
to.
time, just don't.
No,
wear
I don't
pants.
think I can. I don't want anybody's fingers. Like if a woman that I was with
Wear
shoved
loose-fitting
2 fingers
pants.
in my ears for 5 to 7 seconds, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" When a guy does it, you're like, "Hey now," like, "Hey fella, like, give
Did it
me a
mo-
sec here." I've
did it
never had
move?
this. It may. Well, that's why I was asking you guys. Like, is this a new barber technique?
Did it move?
I was
Did
hoping it was.
Did it turn you on at all? You
Did
have
it
to be
move?
honest.
Yeah. Did it move?
Did it twitch?
No.
Did you get a
Did
little
The
bit of a?
opposite. No,
little
the
blood flow?
opposite. No, it was the opposite.
you get the
It's like
cold
the
sweat?
soldier. I was like, I just went right into my foxhole at that point. The whole thing is like this. It's like, yeah, no, I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't bothered by it. I kind of was. I just
I
didn't
am
know.
bothered for you.
Thank
Like,
you.
I'm bothered by the
literally
story.
sweating you telling this story.
Right?
This sounds like harassment. It sounds so weird.
Oh,
Like, I don't know. Maybe he went to a school where they taught him that that's what you got to
Oh,
clean
you know
the
what?
boys' ears out.
I
or
think
something.
Leanne in our comments.
Leanne's a
I think
hairdresser,
she
right?
is. She is a hairstylist. I think.
okay.
Maybe
So
she
Leanne,
does
is that
know.
normal? Leanne, just answer in the fucking comment section if that's normal, because I can't. She's like, oh my God, I peed a little. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you had a pee.
So did
But-
Dean.
Like, is it normal? Do you
Yeah, no, that
stick
can't
your
be
fingers in people's ears after you cut and wash their hair? Is that normal?
Like a head massage. Like Rick is saying that the barber hairdresser gives
she's
him a
saying
head
it is.
massage.
She's
Okay.
saying it is normal.
All right. Now,
That's
now
weird.
before my wife got into what she does for a living, she also worked for a hairdressing outfit, and she does say it worked. Yeah,
It's
it was
normal.
it was normal. How the fuck is I've never had that
No one's ever
You never
stuck
had
their
someone
fingers
stick
in my ears. Never.
ever.
Wait till I
But
get
I don't
there.
get treated like everybody else.
I get uncomfortable when they used to use the little brush near my ears. Like I'd get
Yeah.
all like twitchy.
What is
I
that?
couldn't
Ear
imagine
massage?
someone's finger going in there.
Yeah, and I don't want an ear massage. I don't want an ear
No
massage,
way.
especially if I didn't ask for one. Like if I want an ear
No.
massage, I'll go say, "Hey, massage my ears," and I'll go to a place that does that. If there is indeed a place, like I don't know if masseuses are allowed to do ears, but I didn't ask for it. That was the thing. I didn't. Maybe it's
That's a new
standard.
thing, eh? The old
Maybe
the
they were-
whole cranium massage. Like people are going down and getting their
they
heads
really?
like yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
they were
that'd be
waiting for the
wild.
signal to see if you wanted like to pay for the ending. Maybe that was what it was. That's why it took
The
so
happy
long.
one.
Well,
Is
that's
that
why
it?
it took so long.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like they were there for
Was
7,
there a
8
half
seconds
naked
waiting.
young man standing beside you with warm towels?
Warm hands.
Did you feel like you were in a cabana?
Sir, this is the time you would like to indicate if you'd like to leave a tip.
Was there soft music? Kenny G playing.
Yeah, possibly. Michael Bolton,
Some Zamfir, master of the pan flute.
tiny dancer.
Roger Whittaker. Was there whistling?
No. What's their whistle? Roger Whittaker could whistle the fuck out of himself, couldn't he? He was incredible at whistling. Anyway, that's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks, Locke. Thanks, Ryan. At
Thanks,
Lachlan
Dean.
Cross on Twitter. Give him a follow there. It was a fun show.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out more. I need to get out more and have people stick things in my face.
Apparently.
Something to talk about. Yeah. Ryan Lindley, the Lynn's Report. Download, subscribe, follow him on Twitter as well. At Ryan Lindley. Thanks for doing this.
See you,
brother.
man.
Appreciate it. All right. We'll talk to you soon. That's it for us. Have a great day. That was fun. When you give as few shits as I do, everything's fun. Really appreciate you all being here. Packed show today. And a lot of you stuck around. Appreciate it. Do me a favor. Get behind Team Canada soccer team, World Cup. They lost 1-0 to Belgium today. Don't worry about it. Ray was going to be on with us. Sorry we couldn't get Ray on today. It was a bit of a weird one. He had stuff. We had stuff. It was kind of last minute. We'll have him on tomorrow. Go Canada. Croatia up next. They're going to win. Don't worry. I know I called today, but I'm not calling the next one because I got the one wrong today. So Canada win 2-0. But watch it, man. Get together. This is one of those things you can watch with someone who's maybe an anti-vaxxer. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're like, maybe we can build a bridge with soccer. You don't want to get vaccinated? You do it outside because you don't want to hang around with an unvaccinated person. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks to our friends and sponsors at cantorque.com. Listen, if you're looking for industrial torque wrench solutions, and there are a lot, construction industry is packed with people that are like, why won't this work? We need a solution for this, whether it's construction, mining, nuclear power, whatever the situation is. If you need Rugged, hardworking, beautiful torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts will offer you the very best sales service, rentals, calibration, maintenance, custom fabrication, industrial torque tools, no matter the scale of your bolting project. They have your solution. Go to cantorque.com for more information. Cantorque is a Canadian company that brought all their manufacturing back to Canada because Colin Livingston, the CEO of Cantorque, is a certified Canadian and a beauty. And he wants to do business with you. Cantorque.com if you have any need for industrial torque wrenches, fasteners, looseners, not loosers. That's weird. Looseners, industrial torque wrenches at Cantorque.com. Also, thanks to our guys at kivlaw.ca. Listen, are you in a legal bind and you need some help? Rob and his crew over at kivlaw.ca are the best defense attorneys in Southern Ontario. From Windsor all the way up to Huntsville. They don't care where you are. They care about your legal situation and giving you the best representation no matter what. Email Robert. I'll just give you his email address. That's the easiest. Robert@kivlaw.ca. Robert@kivlaw.ca. Defense attorneys that are interested in your freedom, defense attorneys that are interested in your life and your experience in this life, and they want you to learn from it, and they want to keep you out of trouble and keep you as free as humanly possible. The one person you need to call or get in touch with if you have a legal issue, Robert@kivlaw.ca. Robert@kivlaw.ca. And at Ed's Fine Imports, Christmas is the season, and if you want to do some shopping online, guess what? You can. At edsfineimports.com, use promo code GITCH, and then the number 3, here's what you're going to get. This is beautiful. You get a free pair of underwear, boxer briefs, the best in Canada. Super breathable, pouch in the front. It is incredible how awesome these underwear are. The only underwear the only underwear you should buy, boxer briefs from Ed, Canadian-made underwear. We're huge fans of this country, if you can't already tell. We do business with people that make things in Canada for Canadians. Ed does it. He wants to give you a free pair of underwear. It's Christmas. Send them to the people that you love, that guy in your life. All kinds of colors, all kinds of sizes. Pouch in the front. Gitch is your promo code. Gitch3. Ed's Gitch for sale at edsfineimports.com. You'll get a free pair when you order 3 or more from edsfineimports.com. Have a great day. Appreciate you being here. Thanks to Karima for being here as well. We'll see you tomorrow right here at 3 o'clock because Team Canada is not playing, so we'll be back at our regularly scheduled time. Go Canada, go. Bye.